This video will outline some advantages to using the network controller. With a direct RS-485 connection, only one application can access the network at a time. We can replace the RS-485 adapter with a gateway, but often the gateway will return errors when more than one application is making requests. The network controller, or a PC running NC server, solves these problems once and for all. Unlike the RS-485 or the gateway, the network controller does not simply relay messages down the RS-485 line and relay the device's response back. Instead, the network controller handles all necessary scanning itself and keeps in memory a database of all the blocks values for every device that it is scanning. When an application makes a request to get values from a device, the network controller responds immediately with the values it stored in its database, and it is constantly scanning these devices, updating these values. Another problem that the network controller solves is peer-to-peer communications. Without the network controller, one of these devices must act as a master and perform the necessary scanning for the peer-to-peer communications to work. Problem is, if an outside application tries to communicate to this network, its request will often collide with the peer-to-peer scanning going on. With the network controller, the scanning of devices and responding to outside requests are strictly separated. The network controller takes care of scanning all the required devices, ensuring peer-to-peer communications work while keeping a record of all the devices' values. Outside applications make a request and immediately get a response, because the network controller doesn't have to relay the request down the slow RS-485 line. It simply responds using the values it obtained with its last scan. The network controller acts as a TCP/IP Modbus device, allowing SCADA systems to communicate with it using Modbus on port 502. The network controller also runs its own control core program, with access to all the same blocks and more. Since it has access to the internet, it can pull data from the internet and use it in its supervisory program. The network controller can accumulate historical data. It continuously records values and creates history files. This allows you to later go view any block's value at any point in time. With the Control Core Network Controller software, you can create remote viewer applications. The views you compose become standalone Windows applications that allow end users to monitor and set values in real time from any computer. The viewer can also plot historical data on a graph. In order to connect to the network controller, you have to open port 8150. You might also need to set up a DNS or have a static IP. Opening ports on your network can sometimes be problematic. We solve this problem by giving you the option of connecting to your network controller through our cloud server. When the network controller or a remote application like Control Core or viewers connect through the cloud server, they make an outgoing connection, which means you will not be required to open any ports. All you need is to provide the name and password of your network controller, and the connection is made. This keeps your network secure while providing an easy way to connect to your application. In the next video, we will demo installing NC Server software, which effectively turns any ordinary PC into a network controller.